Welcome all viewers back. We are live, and I'm sorry we had to we lost about 10 minutes in between due to the network issues. So right now we are live, and I hope it will work now. There is some issue with my system as well, but I think we should be having a good remaining 40 minutes now. So still 40 minutes, a lot of time remaining in the tournament. So Chess Blasters are leading right now with 21 points. Then we have Gujarat Lions on 17 points. Then we have Kolkata Dragons on 14 points. Then we have Shivai Chess on 10 points. And we have 7 Star Online Players on 4 points. Khelo Chess India on 2 points right now. Let me join back and just try to play a game from Khelo Chess India just to get a couple of points here. And there are also a lot of other new players that are coming back. And let me just share the new URL with all the viewers, all the players right now who are playing. So okay, so I'm waiting for the game. Too weak, too slow is again a very good player. Let's just check what he's doing right now. Let me pause my game and just try to see a couple of games from some other players, other teams. So c4 was played, g6, g3, bishop g7, bishop g2, c6, knight c3, knight f6, e4, d6, knight e2, castles, castles, e5, h3, knight d7, and then we have g4, queen e7, d3, b6, knight g3, bishop goes to b7. Let me just refresh the page, guys. There is some issue with the piece placement, so I'm just trying to get it back. So this is what we saw last. f4 was played here by white, trying to attack on the black's king side. Then we have pawn takes, bishop takes, and now knight e5. Knight is sitting nicely on e5, trying to attack this c4 and d3. And again, the g4 pawn can be captured later on if black wants to sacrifice b3. And now this opens up this some tactics for this bishop right here on the g7. Okay, so rook e8, rook c1, rook d8, d4, knight d7, goes to d5, knight e5. We have bishop g5, h6, bishop f4, knight d7, queen d2. Now the h6 pawn is hanging here, so black plays king h7. Then we have knight e2, knight c5, g5. Just trying to open up the castle, but I think black can just push the pawn. That's what he did. Then h4, knight goes to d3, and white has resigned. But let's check in the game what happened actually. So yep, so we were here. So this was already happened. Knight d3, and then rook to d1, knight takes f4, queen takes f4, and now bishop to c8, activating this bishop on this diagonal. Knight d4, bishop goes to g4, attacking the rook on d1, rook d2, c5. c5 again, this diagonal is very good for black here. So knight goes to f3, knight takes f3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, and now queen takes f3. King is coming back to g8 to support the f7 pawn because it is being attacked twice by the rook and queen, so it has to be defended well. Then rook e2, when we have bishop d4 check, bishop is nicely sitting on this d4 square, getting a good attack. Then we have king h2, and now rook d7, again another defender from second rank for f7. King h3, bishop e5, rook to h1, bishop takes g3, queen takes g3, queen e5, queen takes, rook takes, and rook e1, rook e7, king g3, king g7, king f3, and now f6. So this break was coming very soon. I was expecting this. Now these two pawns will help black to create some passer on the king side, and this pawn will be blockaded by this rook. Okay, so pawn takes, king takes, and rook to g1, rook to f7, king g3, king g7, and now black has the control of this open f file. This e4 is attacked twice now, so rook e1 to save the pawn, and now king f6. So black has done a nice movement of this king, then activating the rook and bringing the king back into the game. That is a nice movement of this king. So king g3, rook check, king goes to h3, rook e7, rook to e3, King e5, rook e2, rook f7, rook g3, rook to f4, pawn take, rook takes, and now rook to e3. I think this is going to be the next plan to attack the. Oh, rook e4 was hanging. Okay, so e4 was hanging here. So rook takes e4, rook takes e4, king takes e4, and they should be winning for white now. So white just sorry, we should be winning for black now. Black just has to make sure that he gets two pawns, and yes, that's a clear win for black now. Yeah, yep, that's a win for black. Let's go back to the tournament and check the next game that's happening. So we have very few players from Khelo Chess India joining in today. Let's check the top boards. Kagwa Master is playing from Chess Blasters. So let's check the game of Kagwa Master and Rahil from Gujarat Lions. Let's just check what happened here. So d4, knight f6, bishop f4, c5, e4. A sacrifice on e4 here. So why not to capture the e4 pawn? That's a good question. So bishop takes, uh, knight is possible, rook takes, and then I still can't see why this cannot be captured. E4 pawn. Okay, so pawn takes e5, knight to d5, bishop to g3, knight c6, knight f3, queen v6, and then we have knight d2, g6, bishop c4, e6, and castles. So here white has an option to make triple pawns for black in this d5 after capturing the knight. So bishop g7, knight e4, and now there's a threat of knight d6 check. So castles, queen c1. Interesting, queen c1. What might be the idea here? Queen g5 probably, or to support the pawn on b2. Knight goes to e7, bishop h4, queen c7. Now bishop takes d5, knight takes d5, and knight f6 check. This is going to help white a lot. This triple pawn, these are going to be all targets for white now. Bishop f6, pawn d6, and queen h6. An exclamatory move here. Look at this move, guys. Queen h6. This bishop is pinned. It cannot capture the queen on h6. This bishop has pinned this another bishop. And if bishop captures, then pawn captures, and this mate is unstoppable now. So rook g7 is kind of, rook g8 is forced now to support the bishop. I don't know what is black thinking of now. Rook g8 is forced. Or even pawn takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and rook. Bishop takes cannot be played because of queen f8 mate. So bishop takes is not possible because of queen takes f8 check and mate. Oh, queen f8 is check and mate. Oh, uh, queen f8 was made. Why to capture this bishop? But okay, now black can play rook g8 and try to save the mate. I think, yeah, he has played it. And now knight to g5, and there is a mate on h7 and f7. So, yep, that's a mate. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I think directly queen g7 was check and mate, but just white delayed by one move. Let's go back to the tournament now. Let's try to play a game now in a Berserk mode. Or let's try to see one of the games from, let's go back. So Om Namah Shivai is playing from Shivai Chess. Let's try to see one of his games. He seems to be playing well right now. So e4. Okay, let's quickly check what happened in the opening. E4, c5, c3, g6, d4, pawn takes, and d5, pawn takes, queen takes. So this is called as Alapin opening from the white side. I can see hi from Subhash. Subhash, whenever you say hi, I remember of making it full screen. So making it full screen for you. I hope you're doing good, Subhash. All well at your end. Just you can reply in the comment section. Good to hear from you. So this is called as Alapin opening from white side. If you want to try this, you can try this. This is one of the anti-Sicilians we call it as. There are 5 to 6 types of anti-Sicilians which you can try to if you feel that main lines against Sicilians are not good. So bishop b5 check, knight d7, knight goes to c3, bishop g7, f3, castles, knight e2, knight b6, castles, knight d5, bishop c4, knight b6, again attacking the bishop. And now this is a complete setup wherein uh, white is left with this IQP, isolated queen pawn, which is going to be target from this white's black's bishop, and then again you can attack with the queen, then the other rook can come to d8 and attack with the rook as well on this pawn. So this is called as IQP, isolated queen pawn. Then we have knight d5, knight takes, king to h1, and then we have queen d6, bishop to d2, rook to d1, d8, bishop to c3, knight to e3. That's what the blunder is now. This bishop should not have been played to c3 because now knight can give a fork to this rook and queen, knight takes rook, rook takes knight, and then bishop f5. So all this f7 is hanging now. So bishop e6, pawn will be pushed soon, and then this bishop can go back to f5. Queen b5, I think that's allowing an exchange. Now b6 is hanging, so just a pawn push should be sufficient here. e6, I'm not sure why is it required. Yes, Subhash, good to hear from you. Yes, we are also at home and safe. So black is now exchange up. He should offer the queen exchange and try to attack this d4 pawn as much as possible. b5 and b4 is one of the threats now. Can the queen get trapped now? Queen has very few squares left on the board. Rook c6, knight c5 is expected then. So knight c5 won't work because if rook c6, knight c5, then rook takes c5 can be played, and that's the loss for black. Black has overlooked this move of knight f6 check, and he has lost his queen. So that's now winning for white completely. I would just go back and check another game. Okay, so let's go back. Next game is between, let's check the top boards. Let's check this game. Okay, so this game is between Arkia Chut from Kolkata Dragons. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And we have beginner player 555 from Gujarat Lions. Let's quickly check what happened in the opening. So if it's for the Sicilian, e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes, knight takes, queen to b6, knight b3, and now knight f6, knight c3, e6. This is always an annoying pin which when the bishop gets to b4 and puts a lot of pressure on this e4 pawn. So bishop e3, queen to c7, and now f3, bishop e7, knight b5. So this knight is just trying to put some pressure here on this d6 square. So queen b8 just to defend the d6 square, and now queen d2. So those, I think the white is wants to go for the long castle here and then try to g4 h4 like attack like we have in the English attack or the Yugoslav attack in the case of dragon. So white has still kept and he has castled on king side. Okay, so he has completely given a new turn to this game now. Okay, so this was the position, and yeah, pawn takes c6 is not available because of bishop takes f4, and then c7 is also not possible because queen takes c7 and everything is defended. So bishop takes d6, rook takes d6, knight c5, and now b7 is attacked, e6 is attacked, and nothing else. Knight can come to e4 now. This is a threat. Okay, so knight takes and knight e4, rook goes back, queen g5. Suddenly the queen has become activated, and now I think rook takes rook d1 and rook takes d5 is possible because then knight f6 can be allowed and played from white side. So let's see, knight e7, rook d1, queen f4, knight b7. He has given away the piece on the b7 square. Why did black give away the b7 bishop here? It was precious bishop. a precious bishop that's attacking this king side of white. A very good piece on this b7, but for some reason black has ignored it. He played queen f4 and knight takes b7 is free. So now black has to defend what he has left with, a piece down. Black does has this resource of queen takes queen, knight takes queen, and knight to e3 forking these rooks. So that is one of the possibilities. Yep, black can now capture the queen. Yep, knight takes and now knight e3. Yep, that's what. But then f7 is also hanging, so some tactics with white as well. And knight takes f1 will be played. So there will be two knights, knight and bishop for a rook. So that's going to be an interesting ending. Of course, white will hold the upper hand here because of the two minor pieces which will be active on the board. So black has to play something brilliant here to construct a win out of this. It won't be easy for him. All the pawns will be defended very well, and these two minor pieces are going to be the superbly placed pieces, and it will be difficult for. Now that's what I was not happy about. This c3 is now becoming a backward pawn. So rook takes c3 is going to be something that black will be happy about. Yeah, but knight c5 is putting this knight on beautiful outpost from where it can capture the a6 pawn. So that is a good idea actually. I missed this idea of b4 and knight c4. So white has started attacking good now. A6 pawn is now hanging, so that can be captured. I think black has to try something over here. This pawn, something over here that can help black to get some chances in the game. Rook e7 is forced now. Oh, rook takes e6 is available. King has to move. And now there are a lot of moves, a lot of options with white here. These three pawns are going to be very critical moves, critical pieces on the board. Yeah, that's what I said. That he black has to push these pawns and he has to get something on the king side to have some kind of attack or some kind of mating threats. He has to take care of this knight fork as well. This knight fork is going to be a deadly fork. So black has to take care of that as well, that he doesn't lose a rook. I think this should be a mate. So if king h4, then g3 check, king h3, and rook h5 is a check and mate. So g3 is g3 was a okay. Rook was hanging here. Okay, so yeah, it's a check and mate on g4. So good move and good check and mate by white. Let's go back to the game, to the tournament, and let's just check who are leading. Now, Chess Blasters are leading today with 53 points, a huge lead on Gujarat Lions, who are currently on 38 points. So still a difference of about 15 points between the both teams, and still we have 20 minutes. So Gujarat Lions are known to play in the slog overs in the last 20 minutes and get the team on the top. From the individual point of view, we have Kagwa Master on 24. We have Vispai. Okay, Jiten has just taken over from Gujarat Lions. Then we have Vispai Chess. So Chess Blasters right now, one, two, three, four, five players from Chess Blasters currently dominating, and they are playing well. So let's just check one of the top games which is happening right now. Kaushal Vyas and Fisher are playing. So Kaushal Vyas is from Gujarat Lions, while Fisher is from Chess Blasters, the two top teams. Let's check what's happening in the game. What happened in the opening? E4, C6, Knight F3, D5, Knight C3. This is a Caro-Kann defense, guys. So those who are not aware, Bishop g4, bishop d3. So bishop d3 here is actually not of much use. Bishop can be played to e2, and if bishop takes, this bishop can go to f3 and attack this d5 pawn, or at least the center. Then knight can move, and you can play c4 like move to attack this pawn with bishop and this pawn on c4. But bishop d3 actually is not effective because it's hitting his head on this stone over there. So it's not going to be useful there. Bishop e2 was better. Bishop f3, queen f3, e6, and then castles and knight f6, h3. h3 again, I think it's not of much use. I think we should play rook to e1, or even probably try something on the queen side by e3, and knight a5, knight c5, knight a4, knight c5. So h3, castles, g4, knight c6, queen goes to g2, knight d7, knight to e2, and queen b6. Now this is the threat. Both the pawns are hanging. So what will white play? And now he'll save the b7, b2 pawn. f4, b5, f5. Interesting attack. f6, bishop moves, and now queen b6. So creating some pressure on this d pawn. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I think just it went to the ending. So yep. So f4, f5 is what we just saw. And then we had b4, bishop g5, f6, bishop f4 again, queen b6, pawn takes, and I think queen takes g6 was also a decent move here. But he played bishop takes, queen takes d5, king went to h7, and we have queen h5 check. This pawn is pinned, so cannot capture the queen, and king goes back to g8, and now bishop takes g6, and there is a mate threat on this h7 square, so rook goes to, okay, that was a check and mate. Let's go back and check what happened in the game. So queen d5 we saw, king went to h7, then queen h5 check, king goes to g8, bishop takes g6 check, rook d8, queen h7 check, king goes to f8, bishop d6 check, knight to e7, now bishop to b4, and bishop e3 again back, queen e6, knight f4, and this king is locked. It's trapped very badly, and soon I think there will be a check and mate which followed. So king up, black is just trying to give a perpetual check. So here he had to give away the queen. Why? Because there is a mate threat on e7 here. Okay. So I think bishop takes, rook takes f4 was not necessary. Bishop takes e7 was sufficient. Bishop takes e7 check with the support of rook. King will go back to g8, and then we can have a queen h7 check and mate. Okay, so that's what happened in the game. Rook takes f4, knight moves, bishop takes e7 check, king h g8, and queen h7 check and mate. Let's go back to a tournament, guys. So last 17 minutes remaining. Let me join and try to play a game now. I've been holding myself for around 40 minutes from playing a game. So let me play at least one game and just try to explain the same. I played one in the opening, but there was some network issue. I lost that game. But this one will try to show and play much as possible. Okay, so this is one of the games between Wild Frog and Agent SG. So Wild Frog is from Chess Blasters. I think I got a game there. Let me just go back and play a game. So Darshan is playing from Gujarat Lions. I'm playing from Khelo Chess India. Let's play in the Berserk mode. Let's try to play King's Gambit now. Knight takes e4. Let me play d5. Let's play knight d2. Let's try to play bishop d3. Put the bishops in the attacking places. And I think I can play queen e2 now, pinning the knight. Queen e7 will be kind of forced, so I can play knight d4 now. This bishop is under attack. Let me do long castles. He'll go for the short castle. Okay, so knight goes to. Let me try to play and attack this bishop who is supporting the knight here. I do have knight b5 with me as well to threat this knight c7. And if knight e6 is knight d2, okay. So I don't want to exchange my queens. Let me just play queen d2 and thread this rook d1 to pin the queen. So can I play rook d1 now? Knight e5 is expected, but let me just capture the. I think queen e3 is allowing him to exchange. So first rook to queen f6, and I think I have this move now. Knight b5, threatening to attack this pawn. King moves, and I think I can play this one, queen c4. This attacking the c7 pawn, so rook will now go to c8. I have a nice idea here to just uplift this rook to h3 and play it to b3 or e3 to get a good attack. Let's try that. e6, and now let's try to play knight d4 because knight f6 can be then played. Knight goes there, and I have to play queen b3. Oh, d4 knight is hanging. I missed it. I missed it. Okay, that's what happens when you play in the Berserk mode. Queen moves, and now for c4, trying to support the d5 pawn. Queen c4, and I think that should be the game over for me. Okay, let's resign this. I played a very bad game, guys. So just forget about this game. Let's go back to tournament and try to see someone who is in good form and playing good games. So beginner player and Om Namah Shivaya playing too weak, too slow, and Yogi are playing. Let's check this game between too weak, too slow, and Yogi. So e4, c5, knight f3, g6, d4, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop g7, and knight c3, knight c6, bishop e3, knight f6, and bishop c4, castles, bishop b3, d6. So this is called as accelerated dragon. Those who are not aware, to get this setup in dragon setup in the Sicilian defense without the pawn on d6, that is called an accelerated dragon. But now black has played d6 and it has gone into the main variation of dragon. So castles and bishop d7, f3, rook to c8, queen d2, rook e8. Now rook e8 again is a move where in black avoids this exchange of bishops by playing rook e8. So if bishop h6, this bishop can go to h8 and there is no threat of bishop capturing the f8 rook. So this is one of the techniques that you can learn from this game. So rook d1, queen a5, that is expected again. So king goes to h1, queen h4, h5. Okay, attacking this h2 in the h diagonal, h file, and knight d5, knight takes, pawn takes, and knight goes to e5, pawn to c3, knight c4, bishop c4, rook c4. A very well placed, very well maneuver of this knight from e5 and to c4. In many games, we see this maneuver in Sicilian Dragon. What will this rook do? And I think c4 will be played now. Yes, so this is a very nice pawn chain that white is having, and it won't be easy to break it. b5 I think should be planned probably. I'm not wrong. If I'm not wrong. Now white has to play carefully here. There should not be any tactic on this d4 knight. Yep. So he makes sure that this knight is out of all the tactics. He takes it back to e2. And I think there is some this bishop g5, queen h5, and knight g3 is a queen trap probably. Bishop g5 should be played here. Bishop g5 and yes, and I think that's a queen trap. Queen is trapped here, guys. So amazing play by white here, and queen h5 was not a bad move in the first place, but right now it had ended up in a worse position. So this queen is kind of not having any square. So b5 was actually not planned correctly. So he missed, black missed this bishop g5 move, and knight g3 I think is now winning for white. Yes. Yep, I think that's the game over for black. Let's just see one move from black and then we'll go back to the tournament and check the next game. Last 10 minutes of the tournament remaining, guys. Queen takes g5. Okay, that's a losing move. Let's go back to tournament and check the next game. We have the game between Vivek and Narendra India. Let's just check this. They are playing very fast. Still a lot of time remaining. So e4, d6, d4. Narendra India is from Chess Blasters and Vivek is from Gujarat Lions. So knight c3, c6, knight f3, bishop g4, bishop e2, knight d7, h3, bishop takes, and e5, pawn takes, bishop g5, bishop e7, bishop takes f6, knight takes f6, queen takes d8, an exchange variation here. How will it going to, is it going to benefit white does exchanges of the queens? It is going to be, it can be a probable opposite color bishop ending. So both players have to take care that they play perfectly here to avoid. Okay, so I think knight h5 and knight h5 is not possible. This bishop b6 could be a good diagonal for this bishop. So b5 first, bishop king goes to e2, and now a4, a5, knight moves, king to c5, knight e3, and f5 can be a good square for this knight. So black must have played g6, yes, b3, king to d4, and this king is the most active piece right now on the board. The black king, he has reached d4 and he's captured a pawn on e4. That is amazing play by black king here. And he has went piece down actually. Knight e4 is actually a blunder because that knight will remain hanging after knight c2 check, and he has lost that piece. So after this, even now actually, I think black could have played f5. If bishop d3, then e4, and this bishop is trapped. So I think f5 should have been played here ideally to get this piece back. But black ignored that. Black played king takes b3, pawn takes, and bishop now goes to d3, attacking the b5 pawn, pawn to b4, pawn takes, and now f3, f5, g4, f4, bishop to e4, and I think king c3 was better. King c3 and this b3, b2, b1. Yep, I think so. b2, knight takes b4, and it's a free pawn, so I think this will be a loss for black now. It will be a long battle of the ending, but that was the winning. Actually, for the b4 pawn was the winning chance for black, which he has left. And now this should be a loss for black. So let me just show you that move wherein black missed to capture the bishop, the knight, which was hanging. So this was the position, guys, and wherein white played this knight c2 check, where king went to c3, and now this knight was free. So if bishop takes knight, f5 can be played, attacking this bishop. So this bishop probably can capture c6 pawn, but then king can capture the knight, and at least he is not piece down. He might be a pawn down here, but he won't be a piece down. So that I think could have been played. Of course, the pawn structures are getting black is not getting the right pawn structure, but at least he could have fought better in that case. So let's go back to the tournament now. Last 7 minutes remaining. Chess Blasters are leading with 75 and just 10 points back. Gujarat Lions are fighting very hard to get the first place. 7 minutes are still sufficient to get the first place. That's what happened yesterday as well, guys. So let's check the individual point of view. We have Kagwa Master on top. Jitin followed them, then too weak, too slow. So let's just check one game from Jitin and Kagwa Master. Jitin is from Gujarat Lions. Kagwa Master is from Chess Blasters, and let's quickly check what happened in the opening. Kagwa Master. I think all the Chess Blasters players, the team Chess Blasters, they like to play this knight f6 and d6, that is perk defense structure. So in most of the games, they are playing Chess Blasters are playing perk defense. So all the mates can prepare against them. Castle, bishop d3, rook e8. I'm giving away the secrets, guys, so just don't blame me now. It's just something that I'm noticing that a chess player should notice and in opponent's camps. Okay, so e5, d5, and knight to d4. Okay, bishop d4, pawn d4. This bishop is going to be a strong bishop. Now there is no challenger to this bishop. So knight b5 and a6, knight takes d4, bishop d7, queen d2, rook c8, rook c1, knight to a4, b3, and knight c5. This is a nice maneuver, guys. Look at this knight. Knight was not doing not much on the b6 square. So this maneuvering of knight is a very nice move. So knight went to a4, b3, knight c5, bishop to b1, knight e4. Okay, so this b6 knight, look at this knight. It went to a5, c5, and now e4. From e4, it's actually a very good piece attacking the d4 and f2 squares. So we have queen f4 attacking the knight twice. We have queen e7 defending the knight. Rook e1, and now f5. So there's a lot of pressure on this e4 square, not the d4 square, the e4 square. And bishop takes, pawn takes, knight g5, attacking this pawn thrice, but he is leaving away this knight for free. I think that was free given. Yes, that was a free knight. So rook takes and bishop e5. His piece is saved, and black is piece up, and he should be winning after this. Let's just check a couple of moves, and then we'll go back to the tournament to check the next game. Let me have a sip of water, guys. I think that should be losing for white now because the rook is also gone. There is no way rook h4 is there, but I think h6 would probably be answered. And after rook h4, actually bishop h2 is winning. Rook takes queen is available. So let's go back to the tournament, check another game, guys. This is winning for black now. Complete rook up. So next game, let's just check one of the games from top boards, Jiten and Kagwa Master. We have seen Kagwa Master's game. Let's scroll down and just check one of the games from this one, Vipassi Chess, and again the top two teams battling out. So let's just continue with this position which is there currently. So Hari Krishna Parik Hari Krishna is from Gujarat Lions, and Vispai Chess is from Chess Blasters. Both teams are playing for the first position now, and this is something that is interesting because this bishop is pinned. He cannot capture this h3 bishop, and so black has to find a way to get his queen activated. Yep, that's the way. But it would leave a weak pawn on e6 actually. So rook takes e6, f takes e6, and black is under time pressure now. So probably white should win this one, giving an extra point to Chess Blasters. That probably will make their first position as fixed as the winners of today if Vispai Chess from Chess Blasters win this one from white side. Yeah, white should not go for the repetition here. White has to try and innovate, find some winning moves because black is under immense time pressure. Yeah, he can offer an exchange as well. Now c4 can be played. Yeah, c4. And the idea is to play this check and capture the queen, but the c6 is played, and so he has to defend these squares wherein white black can give the check to king and get a perpetual. So this is the right way to continue. There are no checks available, and now Why did white give away both the pawns? I'm still not sure. G4. White is just trying to play with fire here actually. This G4. Okay. G5 again. Black is equally playing with the fire by pushing the pawns, giving no shelter to the king, and I think black is going to pay the price for this move. G5. Black is just hoping that he could get some perpetual checks, and sorry, black is hoping for the perpetuals, and this should be a win for white. Yes, it's a clear win for white. Black resigned last 30 seconds, so let's not take any new games. Just wait for 30 seconds and check who are the winners. Right now, Chess Blasters are leading with 88 and a huge difference between the first and second position. Today, Chess Blasters are going to be the clear-cut winners. A lot of efforts from Chess Blasters, and finally they have came up as winners. Then we have Gujarat Lions on 65, Shivai Chess on 46, Kolkata Dragons on 30, and Khelo Chess India on 23. 7-star online players on 8 points. So it was a very good tournament, guys. And thank you all for participating in this tournament. All of the watchers, viewers out there, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, like the video, and make sure you come back tomorrow at the same time, 9:30 p.m. We have a live session every day at 9:30 p.m. just for you, right at your homes. We bring the best of you to chess. We have also started our blog wherein we mention all the live tournaments, not just live tournaments, but the team tournaments, cash tournaments, non-cash tournaments. So if you want to read that blog, just join our WhatsApp group. We put all the details in our WhatsApp group. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you have if you have liked this video, the live broadcast, and that's it from Khelo Chess India. So bye bye, good night, and take care until we meet tomorrow at 9:30.